Going to keep this short as possible, and so we're just going to be talking about some survival stuff, sort of insurance for your family, and in case of any kind of disasters, or you have car insurance, house insurance, so sort of a little life insurance for your family. And you'll see on the internet some alcohol stoves, and they make these of beer cans, and they're really hard to make, and then you're going to have to tote around some alcohol with you. They might be good for backpacking, but if you want to challenge yourself to make one, go ahead. But I don't think they have much use in survival. Then you have your that's cooking oil. It's a candle, and on the bottom is water, and the top is cooking oil. The top is bottom of a beer can turned over, a hole punched in, toilet paper. And so you can make a candle out of cooking oil, which, it's kind of handy. And cooking oil is something that you should have in your food supply anyway. You can buy a couple gallons of it at Costco sort of thing and have it in your food supply for cooking, preparation of foods. And then you have your rocket stove. You'll see plans to build this on YouTube, and they're double walls. Some of them tell you to put sand in between the walls for insulation. I'm not sure why you need insulation to begin with, but this one here is fiberglass. I put fiberglass in between to keep it light. But to be honest with you, if you just get a bunch of bricks, go to your hardware store, buy a bunch of bricks, then you can just stack them up. And as long as you have a hole at the very bottom for your fuel, so you can put in the wood, air can go in, it might be just a heck of a lot easier using bricks. Food supply. I'm not a member of any religion, but you can get food from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And what you do is you go to their site, for whichever city you live in, drill down until you find the Home Storage Center short order form. You fill it out, and a lot of this stuff is canned. It's good for 25, 30 years sort of thing. And you have your phone number in there, and then once it's ready, they give you a call. You go down there and pick it up, and they don't care if you're Mormon or not. It's a good place to start your food storage. You get a lot of basic stuff, your wheats and flours and beans and stuff like that. And here it's sort of 3 pails. You buy this real cheap. There's 3 pails here. They come stacked up. You buy them, in a hardware store or different stores, Walmart, Canadian Tire, whatever. And my initial plan was to maybe try baking bread in it. And then when you start looking into baking bread, you need yeast. And yeast is probably something you're going to have a hard time with because it has a short shelf life. So chances are you're going to be making unleavened bread, they call it, without yeast. And so then you get a pretty dense loaf that you could probably have a football game with it, and at the end of the game you can probably slice it up and eat it, and it'll still be intact. Or you can do what they've been doing for thousands of years and just making flatbread. And you need a pan, and you roll it out, and then you throw it on a pan and cook one side, brown one side, flip it over, cook the other side, and there you have bread. These grates were pulled out of a refrigerator. That's a good place to get them because stoves, they're a little farther apart. So refrigerated grates make great grates for if you want to, set something up for cooking, warming up a can of beans, or you're doing some rice or something. And so what you do is you pull out the grates, you cut them to whatever you need using a zip saw or metal cutoff blade in your skill saw or a hacksaw, whatever. Stick them on a cupboard, and you can bend them. Just get a hammer and start whacking them until you get the shape you want. And then you're going to have some nice little stands for putting on your rocket stove or candles. I've been making candles. I just like candles, and I've been doing it all my life, and so I kind of perfected it. And what you can do is the key is to get cheap wax. So you go down to garage sales, and usually you'll find these, or secondhand stores or places like that, and you'll see these huge blocks of wax they have, where they have really small wicks, and the wax, it sort of drills down into the big block of wax and goes out and drowns itself. They're terrible candles. So you'll see a lot of them at garage sales. They're trying to pound them off. But you buy those, and then you heat them up in your stove. And using a pot, and you get an aluminum pot, and you need a little spigot on it, so that, a little pour area, because if not, you're going to make a heck of a mess. And you get a bunch of jars. That's the first one there is a coffee jar, or jam jars, or whatever. And then what you do is you heat up the wax, you fill up the jar, and then you wait till it cools, and then it'll be really indented, because it contracts as it cools. So you're going to have to heat it up again, pour it again, and then once you get a bunch of jars filled with wax, you get yourself a drill. And you don't want these too tall, for one thing. It's hard to get a long drill, and also be hard to light. So you don't want them too tall, but this is a nice height here. You drill down to the bottom, and then you stick in a fairly hefty wick. Nothing worse than a little wimpy wick where it drills down and drowns itself and goes out. So you want a nice wick, and the beauty of putting it in a glass jar is, as it burns down, the heat heats up the jar, and all the wax continues to go down with the flame to the very bottom. So none of that, but it's a little safer in a glass jar rather than having a candle that might tip over and start burning things. And this is just a cotton string. So when you're heating up your wax, I cut pieces of the string. I put it through the wax, and then put it on the kitchen counter. Try to straighten it out so it dries straight. And you can make a whole whack of those things really easy. And then you have your little radio. It's good to have a little crank up radio, rechargeable battery, and you can crank it. It's a good thing to have. Lots of lighters. It's a good thing to have lighters. At Costco, I bought a package of 3, the long lighters, which are nice to have especially for lighting candles. You get the package of 3, and I bought quite a few packages. Plus, they were refillable. I didn't believe it. So you can always also have some fuel that you can refill some of your lighters with. Edible foods, you'd be surprised at how many edible foods are growing in your backyard. Including dandelions is one, and there's you can go on the internet or on YouTube, and you can either purchase books, or you can get free information on the internet, photocopy it, and identify some of the plants in your yard that you can eat. This is a book on mushrooms, and I don't really believe in all the prophecies and the meteorites are gonna coming in, we're all gonna die, and if you list all that stuff on YouTube and on the internet, you're gonna go crazy. And there's only one book really that really spells it out. Like I say, I'm not part of any kind of religion. I'm not pushing anything, but there's only one book that has been trusted and true through the ages, and the prophecies in it have come true, and it has descriptions of things to look for if you're really looking for the end time sort of thing. And that's this book here. And my next video, I'm just gonna cover some of that stuff in Revelations and throughout the Bible, just some warning signs to look for. No scary weird stuff. If you're interested, just look below the screen and you'll see Old Guy. And I just started to make videos, so there won't be a lot of videos yet. But if you look beside Old Guy, it'll have the videos that I have, and click on that and you'll get to the next video.